Yeah, it's Wednesday the 18th of August. We have a couple of things we planted, landscaping in the garden today. We put this one in about a month and a half ago. You can see it's flowering. Um, Make sure we dug the hole twice as big as the pot, just as deep. You want the top of the pot to be just level to the ground or a hair above it. And we always add a little bone meal and blood meal to the mix of pot and soil. And the mix would be half the dirt that's already in the hole mixed with another quarter of pot and soil and a quarter of cow manure or manure. So, and then you mix that all together with your stuff, sit it in, watered it a few times. You can see it just took off and starts flowering, even though the rest of the yard's kind of dead, as you can see from no rain. That's a bush we put in a couple years ago. That's about 6 foot high. This one I put in about 2 years ago. I found that along the weeds. See, the dry weather's really gotten to us, but I'm doing mostly the backyard. But this one was just, I don't know, 6, 8 inches high. I found it hiding in the weeds. Put it in a pot for a couple of weeks and then put it in the ground. And best time to plant anything you got gonna put in the ground is in the fall. That's when it'll really sink in the ground. That right there was, my wife bought that home from the university. It was laying along a tree somewhere, and that thing was about 4 inches high when I got it about 5 years ago, and it's all about 15 foot now. And it's really growing like crazy. You see all that stuff you're used to, the strawberries, the raspberries, all that stuff. It's starting to come back now. Now we had some rain and it's not as hot out. Let's see, this is a bush here we put in a couple years ago. We bought it for like $1.99. It's starting to come back now. It took a while. It's a type of evergreen type fern. I got these 2 maples right here in these pots that I found the other day along the border of the yard. So I'll be putting those in the ground soon and putting a tomato cage around them, and then let them sit in there all winter, and that'll really get them adjusted to the ground. And then I'll be starting to put some trees back where I lost them all way out back there. Another plum bush like style tree like the one I just showed you. I don't know, that's been in good 5 years now, but that was just a little one when I got it. This was from her mom. It came in a bucket. It was really flowering a couple weeks ago, but the heat got to it, rose bush. But it just came in like a little pot that most people throw away, and I just put her in the ground and sewed her up and put some bricks around her, and you can see what happened with that. Lilia than cypress. And just a little guy. All these trees you see here, these oaks, that big maple there, these style maples here, all these big trees you see in here except for the birch and the pear were all found around my yard over the years, about back in the weeds, and I dug them up and just forward them until I could get them in. This came from her mother's beach house years ago. The heat really got to this year, this crepe myrtle, but it's still growing. It's taller, but it's not blooming like the other ones, but it took a lot of heat and stuff out here. There's the pear tree. That was about 3 foot tall when I got it, but it's good 40 foot now. But yeah, I did buy that one. This oak tree I found around the surroundings. I put that in about 2 years ago. It struggled for a little while, me getting it going. I actually had it up by the shed a little bit in the shade at first, and I finally moved it out here to kind of force it along. First, I think I showed you before my fir tree, my favorite tree in the world. That thing was 3 foot tall when I got it. It's a good part of 40 foot now, and when it's right in season, it's just a beautiful, beautiful tree. Really makes the yard nice. This maple here was another little seedling that I found growing in the perimeter of the yard. Put it in, and you can see now it's up to, I don't know, 7 foot tall. I think I told you guys last time about this lemon tree. This is one I got from my friend in Rochester. She now lives in Florida, down where I'm at, and Kathleen, and I think I explained to you the lemons smell real good. Good to have around the house. This is a green apple tree. I've almost given up on it. Granny apple. I've had it in for a long time. It used to produce, but I'll be honest with you, the bird's just knock the crap out of it all the time. So just that time it gets going. There's another white birch that got hit by in a hurricane last year, and it lost like half of it, but I've been able to get it to grow back to a point, so I'm real happy with that. That pine that's just here I put in, and that's a good 60, 70 foot tall, and I put that in about 10 years ago, and that was about a foot high seedling that I got. So it's starting to come back, and along the edges I trimmed a lot out over the times. Where I took other trees out this year, or the hurricane took them out, and I finally burned them up, was this maple right there. So I'm gonna see what comes out of it. I put a cage around it, try to protect it for a little while with the wind, and we'll see what comes out of it. Got some more firewood to finish up over there. We just keep pushing, keep growing. It's my favorite thing, as you can all tell. Still got to finish some work back here, but I'll show you one of these seedlings. That's a crayon apple tree. I put that in, geez, 20 years ago. It was just a little tiny thing, but a lot of these, like that oak right there, that maple there. There's probably 15, 20 trees here I bought online from, I think it's called the Arbor Society, and 10 trees for $10, and all they do is send you sticks. That's it. And you got to make them work. And I'd say about 70% of them I've got to grow pretty good. There was 30% just didn't really get a chance. But as you see, they start growing. I had some back there, but I had so much work to do, I kind of walked away. But this is where we got rid of a lot of trees. But see, like I'll just come up to, you can see that maple growing right there. I'll just come up to that or go along the edges of the yard, find pines, maples, oaks, or when I'm just riding along a road or just going for a walk somewhere with her, and I'll see a seedling that I think might do something, and I'll take that seedling and put it in my yard and grow her, see what she comes of. These 4 trees here all were seedlings. All were seedlings. That one got hit with a hurricane last year, but this one's a seedling too. They were all seedlings I found in the yard, but they've just grown up to be really huge. I'd say about 30 foot, but they've only been in 4 or 5 years. So that's just nothing for those right now, and they're just going to keep going. That's one of the ones I got in a mound. That's probably 20 foot tall now. Struggled for a while because of the clay here, but I got it going. That was an original pine that was here, but I had to trim it back and get it going. Some bushes I got through the mail and stuff there. They get like 15 foot high, but I trim them down to like 8 because they just get out of control. Those 2 maples there before, the big maple over there, that big maple is first one I ever put in the yard, and it actually got hit over in a hurricane. I had to dig it up, strap it to the ground, and it grew back. And the other 2 maples were just sticking up all the mail about 10 years ago, 5 years, whatever it was, 10 years ago I think, yeah. And put them in, and you can see where they're at now. Just a lot of trimming, tender loving and caring with them. Another crepe myrtle, which is doing good, looking good. Little type of pine bush there. This one was an original. And you can see where it's been torn up, chewed back, died, you name it. But it's been here 30 years, and somehow I get it to come back every year. Maybe it's another purple plum. This thing's just going crazy. This maple is another one I found around the edge of the yard, but the problem with this one is it just had too much heat this year, and the grass got away from it, and I didn't get it most of the time. But it is actually starting to grow back now, but it's pretty much hit its time for this year. You can see these 2 Leland cypresses I put in. Look at right there. I just noticed. Got a tomato tree. The birds must have bought a seed over. We got a tomato plant right there growing on these 2. I don't know what that is, but it started growing. I always trim it up and keep it there. That's one of the original bushes we put in behind our porch, and we just keep cutting little pieces off and moving it all over. It really does good. That red one I just put in this year. I still got to get over here. It's the only part of the yard I really didn't get to this year because I've taken all these trees out to do anything. But you see, I got a landscape in here, so it's just become too much for me. Not too much for me, but too much for everything else I had going on. Another crepe myrtle. I just put this in today in the areas where the pines were. This thing's really, it looks real nice, and it's deep inside. Same thing. Half goes back into the original soil or whatever you have there. Common geez, I'm losing my mind. Not peat moss. Potting soil, and then you want to mix in a little blood meal and bone meal, and they'll just take right off. This one's maybe 3 foot tall, maybe, yeah, but 3 or 4 years it'll start doing what I wanted to do. Like I said, I'm primarily going to send it back, so I want to get over to the garden, start showing you some of the stuff I put in for the fall. But there's a lot more landscaping. But of course, that's the bush I got my wife. That's chives and a fern thing I got going there. All this stuff's growing in there. That's where you saw the dog picture. She dug my whole thing up there. That's a lion. It's called a lion bush. I put that in maybe a year and a half ago, and it just took over the area. And then in the winter, you trim it way back, and it just comes back every year. You can see that purple crepe myrtle. That's just this is the time of year when it looks real good. But what people don't realize, you have to go in for these bushes and trees that are crepe myrtles if you want them to grow great, and you got to thin them, because if the air doesn't go through them and get thin, they'll just get like a white mold on them and they'll die. So I did this one a long time ago, and it comes back every year. There's some more of those bushes. I can't remember. My wife could tell you the name of those things, but that was the first thing I think we ever planted here along the porch, and they've just gone crazy, and we've taken pieces out and just grown them everywhere. You can see one growing there. I just moved over here the other year, maybe last fall or this past fall. I put in here. It's starting. It'll take up that whole side. I gotta, of course, do some work around here. But here, if you want to see a transplant, I haven't gotten it yet, but you can see that maple right there. It's about 1.5 feet tall, maybe. So I have to get in here without tearing up my air conditioner line sets, but I gotta get in here. I'll get that potted up, get it to where it's in a solid ball for, a good week or so, too, and then I'll put it in the ground. In a couple of years, she'll be doing what she needs to do, as long as I can keep critters away. And these are just the bushes on the side of the house. It seems like they got to be trimmed every week. It's just amazing how much. But none of this was, like I said, was here. This was I put the pellet stove in. It comes out there and air conditioner. But before that, first put the pellet stove, there was nothing there. Well, I know we put that little flowering bush in there, but this thing was just looked like a weed. I just kept fooling with it. Next thing I know, it's a thick old rigid bush. So I'm not exactly sure what that thing's called. I'll have to look it up. But it really took off, and you can see the big maples from there. There's two right there, the ones that were small, and then that one there is the one that got hit with hurricane winds and split way up top. That's why there's that big gap up there. It took a huge limb through it, probably 40 foot all the way back to the backyard, and then hit the other tree, and that's where the other 17 trees went down. That's an oak. I guess that oak's been in about 3 or 4 years now. It was probably, I don't know, maybe, I'm guessing that's one that was just on the grounds that I put in, that maple there. But this oak is probably, oh man, I'm gonna say it's been in there, it was about 8 foot. I'm gonna say it's been in there about 4 years, 3 or 4 years, and it's gonna start laying its branches out soon, and as it lays them out, you gotta trim them back so it don't tear everything up and put too much stress. You just gotta work it till you work it into its form you want it to be, and the height and the growth of it. We're getting up on the garden now. I had a heck of a, you go out to Facebook or my Instagram at Jeff's Garden and Tips, you'll see I had a heck of a pick out of here the other night. You can see already things are, still got a watermelon down over there, tomatoes. I just put those in today. That is some cauliflower I put in. Everything else is, it's cooled down a little bit and got a little windy. You can hear the wind, but everything's still growing. We had a ton of rain yesterday. I think we had 3 or 4 inches of rain minimum, because the whole backyard was flooded. But you can see the peppers growing in there. That right there is another cauliflower. It's going to be coming up. Squash. Everything's starting to. Not too happy with that. I can't think of it. Butternut squash. Okay, I'm not too happy with it, but we'll see what it does. It was doing better earlier on. The purple pepper's doing good. You can see that. English cucumber's doing good. I picked the garden pretty clean the other day. We got some banana peppers in there. Some more bells going. You can see right here, that's some broccoli right there I put in. And that is some cabbage I put in because they're cold weather things. So right about the time I'm ready to shut down, the broccoli, the cauliflower, and the cabbage will all be ready at the same time to bring in. I just have to let it grow while it's still warm down and let it become its, oh man, what's in that thing? I don't know what's in there. Just have to let it go until I get a chance to, losing my mind, sorry. Yeah, I'll let it go, and then before it gets to like around the first freeze, or can't get below 28 degrees, and broccoli and cauliflower, cabbage, beans, peas, stuff like that will go down to 28 degrees, but I generally, if it's going to get pretty cool, I cover them up when I need to. You can see this thing's just loaded up with tomatoes, but I'm not going to pick them because let's see how many are in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 8 or 9 big tomatoes, more peppers, but I'm not going to pick tonight, even though I could, because as you saw my stuff I posted the other day, I have 3 huge containers of vegetables, and I've given them to both my neighbors, I've given them to my family, I've given them to my neighbor behind me. I'm giving everybody everything. This plant was all but gone, this Japanese eggplant, but I forwarded it, mixed it up a little bit, got it vitamins and watered it real good, and it seems to start coming back. This big boy tomato plant has produced crazily, but you can see it kind of like got a little bit of a hit, and that big boy's right back there. It's just full of them. So I have to do something with those cucumbers upstairs tonight. Tomatoes up there tonight, because I won't have anywhere to put these. I've got to at least make them in a sauce or do something. You can see the eggplant there, This thing is ready to go again. Looked like it was on its last limb just the other day. Same as this eggplant looked the same way. You can see them just coming right back. It's amazing. Even that yellow cucumber plant's coming back. You can see all the tomatoes inside of there, but the problem is when you only use so many of them, looks like these cucumbers are, believe it or not, you can see them starting to come back here a little bit. I was ready to rip that out. Of course, sweet potatoes, beans are coming back, yellow squash is coming back. It's just amazing the weather, but I foresee in the next, within a month, it'll start getting cooler nights, and that's when it'll start not going as crazy. But normally my garden goes pretty good till October, so we'll see. And there's just all the potatoes you know about. Kale's coming back, and you can see cucumbers coming in on those things again. So I don't know, I guess they're the everlasting cucumbers. I've never seen nothing like it. We've had some real hot stuff this year. Patty pan, oh boy, look at that. Didn't even see it, and I don't even want to pick it because I already just gave a bunch of these away. But look at the size of this patty pan down there that I didn't even see. You see that thing? I think it's the biggest patty pan I ever had. So, got to get cooking tonight. Corn's all but gone. I'm going to take that out of here probably this weekend, because you can see it's starting to brown up, even though I've been keeping up water-wise. But it's, I got the ears we're going to get off of it that were producing pretty good. I might get a couple more off it, but I'm all but going to take it out. Just get myself some more room. You can see that acorn squash right there. I just picked 2 of them yesterday. They were pretty big, so I can let them sit for a little bit because they're hard as a rock, and then I can cook those up too. Tomatoes I pretty well did out of here yesterday. Took out, you don't see much in there because I had a heck of a pick. And you can see more jalapenos, more banana peppers, more purple beans, which I got to get out. This is another yellow squash, but it don't seem like it's rotted, so it's probably going to come in. That was cantaloupes, but I think that's pretty much shot. Let's see here. Not seeing too much on that patty pan bush right now. But I didn't see it on the other one either. But this one was the one that's produced more than even the other one. So sometimes you got to really do some digging around here and looking. But I'm not too excited because it's still flowering. So that means absolutely nothing with these things I found out this year. I must have gotten special patty pan seeds this year or something. Everything else is growing good. We're where we want to get. We got our fall garden in. White zucchini, white eggplant. I took one off yesterday. I got to get 2 or 3 of them cooked up now. So everything's still going. We'll see how much longer. We're getting some of that rain from Fred right now, that hurricane. Now, yeah, I did put some lettuce in too, in some of these containers. But lettuce really doesn't take that long to grow, and I'll probably put some in like 2 weeks when I start seeing the garden dismiss a little bit more. You can see another cauliflower standing there. Just got to keep pushing. Yeah, I think it's this barrel back here. Don't hold me to it. It's been a while. Me remembering after 2 days is amazing anymore. But I think that pot over there has some lettuce in it. I think there's another one I put it in too, but I know I did put some in. But when it comes up, we'll know it. Because lettuce just goes bonkers. And like I said, if he's don't start taking off here a little better, these butternut squashes, I'm just gonna take them out and put some lettuce in there. And I'm pretty sure I put some lettuce in that barrel right there too. So I just have to give it a few days. I don't feel like digging everything up, and I think I put some lettuce on this half of this tray. Seeding it because I still got time because it's warm and it comes up relatively quick. But you can look in here and just see those red tomatoes all in there, and the big ones, the big green ones in there. I got to get them off. You can see the plum ones growing back in there. Another day or so, I'm not going to pick again, because what they end up doing is they get to the point where they start falling off and they attract the animals, or they rot in the ground. So already had to throw a couple out. They've been rotting, and you can see this plum's still going good here. I picked this thing pretty clean the other day, but there's plenty more on there. But that'll be going soon, and as soon as that goes, as soon as that plum starts pushing off just a little bit more, I'm going to take it out and then empty that barrel and see how them potatoes did underneath of it. There's that cucumber growing way over here. Look at that thing. Jeez, man. That thing is growing way over here up. It looks like it's dead where it's coming out of the ground. It's just amazing. But it is coming back. It's growing down here. So we'll just have to see. It looks like it's coming over here. Isn't that something else? Looked like it was going for good. Going for good. But you see one growing right down there. But it's kind of a funky one, but because that was in the hot weather. We'll see. The way it's growing right now, I wouldn't be surprised not to get another 4, 5, 10 cucumbers this year. It's kind of weird because that one's coming back, and that one in there is starting to come back, and I showed you that bigger one over there is starting to come back. So it's been when I say exciting, growth season. It's been a tremendous growth season. You always learn when you're gardening and doing different things, and real happy about everything. It's just what you end up finding is you can end up getting read about it. It's kind of weird because I coached sports forever for our kids and high school and all that kind of stuff. Loved it, and between work and that, just got burnt out. And I started doing this a couple years ago, more landscaping and everything. And I love this. But once you get growing so much, and people say, "Why do you grow so much?" Because I love doing it. But when you get to this point of the year, and you've picked so much and done so much, and you've given so much away, you still got more coming. There's just times you're just like, whew, wow. But every year, actually, I think I'm done. I just get bigger with it. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to check out for the day. Like I said, you can go out to Instagram and check on Jeff's Gardening Tips and see what you like about any of the pictures I put out there to harvest. Oh, she's starting to pour pretty good now. And if you go out to Instagram, I just said Instagram, sorry about that. If you go out to YouTube to Jeff's Garden and Tips too. You can go out there and see all the different videos. There's like 30 videos. If you can like them and subscribe, be appreciated. It just keeps them coming that way. And otherwise, I hope you have a good end of the summer, and we'll be talking to you towards the end of August and early September. Thanks, bye, see you all.